What happens when you turn alum-treated Suminagashi into Momigami using Konnyaku starch? Well, I tested it, and there are so many surprises. The beautiful thing about this technique is it doesn't take a lot of materials. Get them once, use them over and over. Here I am mixing. It takes about 30 minutes. You can see it's actually working because it's starting to adhere to the spoon itself. So I just kind of kept stirring and checking it as it got thicker. Because this video is a comparison of alum-coated Suminagashi prints, I'm sorting out the pages from my previous video. The previous video for making these prints is located down below in the comments or in the description area. So what we'll find are a lot of surprises as to how this all turns out. Now it's time to put the Konnyaku starch on our Suminagashi prints. This is an 80-pound drawing paper that I'm working with right now. I'm not going to bore you with every single detail, but what you're going to notice are some shifts in color as we move further into the Konnyaku starch that we add to our sheets. This one in particular, the colors really came more alive. The alum coating had really helped solidify the color and vibrancy and clarity, but once I started adding the Konnyaku starch to it, it really made a big difference. This is a 32-pound copier paper. I did 3 types of paper. I did 32-pound copier paper, 20-pound copier paper, which this is. The next remaining pages that we do are going to be the 20-pound paper, which I was surprised. Again, there are several surprises throughout this entire video that I never really expected, especially if you watch these colors just come to life. There's something about the 20-pound paper, just regular copier paper, that was really surprising in this entire test that I did. So you'll notice as I go through, I wanted to show that color vibrancy, how it really came alive. The black even changed a little bit on some of these. They were a little bit richer, a little bit brighter, and there even seemed to be a little bit more clarity. It wasn't just all gray. So like I said, many surprises as I went through this whole process of taking an alum-coated Suminagashi print, putting Konnyaku starch on top of it to go ahead and do Momigami. Now we wait for everything to dry. All right, everything dry. Let's sort through and take a look at what we have. 20-pound copier paper. Then we move into our 32-pound copier paper. And then our 80-pound drawing paper. Each performed just a little bit different. Once everything is dried, Momigami time. If you notice, I rolled in the edges, I rolled in the corners. I was real gingerly handling it at first. This is a 20-pound stock, but what I did notice is, yes, the Konnyaku starch, it does help add a little body to the paper, but somehow the paper just didn't seem as fragile. I think because when I've done lotions, it kind of weakened the fibers, and it feels as though this is much stronger. The overall feel of the paper, even though it's just 20-pound copier paper, it just seemed a lot stronger and a lot easier to manipulate. So I was real careful, and I just continued on. This is 20-pound as well, but I did continue rolling in the edges and the corners just to kind of protect them and to massage them through and crumple them up. And each paper handled it just a little bit differently. And this is something that you could take, and do while you're watching TV in the evening. It's really kind of fun to just kind of crinkle them up and see what you get. Each one was a little different. And if you remember, or if you've not done Momigami, typically your paper is going to shrink the more you crumple it together. And we'll see that in the end. For the sake of this video and its length, I did cut out much of the crumpling that I did do. It is a personal thing. I don't think there's any right or wrong into how long or how you do it. I just try to protect the edges, the corners, and amazingly, out of all of these papers, not one of the pages were torn. There were no holes, no rips or anything. Now this is the 80-pound drawing paper. This one I did struggle with. The paper was so thick, and to try and fold it up and crumple it on itself, I wasn't struggling, but yeah, you could really feel it in your hands. It was a lot harder to get the folds and to get all of the texture into the paper. I really had to work hard at it. You'll notice I open it up a little bit, and then I go in and I specifically try to wrinkle different areas of the paper on its own rather than I did with the other two weights of paper. This one did take a little bit more work to get it to crinkle up and look halfway decent. But again, amazingly, none of my papers had any rips or tears, and for that I'm really happy, because typically I would get holes in the middle or I would get a rip in the middle. And again, this is another 80-pound paper, and you'll see I kind of struggled to get that rolled in on itself, but eventually it worked, and I think it turned out really, really pretty. People often ask, what do you do with Momigami paper once you make it? Well, you know, out of all of the papers that I did today, this one turned out to be one of my favorites. Wait till you see what I did with it. I made something that even surprised me. Now let's look at the size difference. Look at the sizes. The one on the right is non-alum. The one on the right is the one we just momigami'd. And again, if you look on the right, the size difference it's pretty telling. So basically, if you are compressing it and crinkling it and crumpling it, your paper size tends to go down and get shorter. So to look at them, you can see which ones I really did the momigami technique to. And overall, I love how all the papers came out. Now wait till you see what I did at the end. Here's where we started, here's where we ended, and here's what I made. I just love it. And look, all of these papers I think would look gorgeous and make like an abstract, beautiful painting to give as a gift, to hang up in your home. I just love how they all came out. As I continued through the papers, each one I think looking great, I noticed even the non-momigami would be great. And with the art itself being abstract, landscape, portrait, what's up is down, it looked great no matter how I turned it. I just fell in love with this one in particular, the colors, and I don't know that you can see the texture so much, but wow, they were really, really high contrast in the frame with that matte. Is this something you think you'll try? I know I'm going to investigate it a little bit further. I would love to hear your comments and thoughts about this process. Leave them in the comments.